Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are going to take a look at a pair of teams that have been definitely circling the teams that have shown interest in maybe trading a defenseman, as the Nashville Predators and the Ottawa Senators have definitely been showing an interest in looking to add some blue liners on a potential playoff run. And we're going to take a look at who I think is the best fits for each of those teams. It's a little bit different. Some players overlap. Some players are, in their own right, just a better fit in Nashville and a better fit in Ottawa. The Ottawa Senators gave us a juicy link to a certain player in Chicago. We'll go over that as well. So we're going to start off with the Nashville Predators because they're the ones that kind of made me want to make this video. And apparently, there is a correlation between a certain player out in Vancouver that would happen to fit really nicely in Nashville. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. No, that's not what I meant. No, I did not mean Oliver Ekman-Larsson. No. I think there's a pretty good player right now in Vancouver, not named Oliver Ekman-Larsson on the blue line, that I think would actually be a perfect fit for the Nashville Predators. The only problem with that player, and pretty much all the guys on this list, is it might come at a pretty decent cost. So you might be understanding, okay, so who is he talking about then? I think Luke Schenn is a really good defenseman, and I think Luke Schenn is a guy that, listen, he was a part of that cup run with the Tampa Bay Lightning for a couple of years, and was a big part of that blue line, a hard-nosed, tough guy to play against, not afraid to drop the gloves, not afraid to drop that big hit on somebody in the middle of the ice. Luke Schenn would be a real nice addition there, and especially with who he'd be playing with potentially in a youngster like Dante Fabbro on the back end. I think that Luke Schenn is just the epitome of a perfect line mate for a guy like Fabbro. Another two guys that I was looking at for the Nashville Predators, Patrick Nemeth out in Arizona. Patrick Nemeth has kind of bounced around the league. He was a part of the Colorado Avalanche a couple of years back and played fairly well there. He was also a part of the New York Rangers last season, ended up getting traded to AZ this past summer. So I think Patrick Nemeth, if in the right spot, and potentially a spot like Nashville, that's a tough guy to play against in the postseason. Again, kind of similar to Schenn, not afraid to drop the gloves. Maybe doesn't have the gravitas that Schenn has. And that actually might be a benefit and might be something that, hey, he might be an easier guy to acquire than a guy like Schenn. And maybe that adds a little bit of appeal from the Nashville Predators. And the third guy I was looking at out in Ottawa, funny enough, is Nikita Zaitsev. Now, I think that, it depends on what happens with Ottawa, and that's why I kind of have them in the lesser category of making this trade, because I think that they want to add to their blue line, not necessarily take it away. But if they could free up Nikita Zaitsev's money to send it down to Nashville to bring in a bigger name defenseman, which we'll get to in a second, then it might actually make more sense for them to trade Zaitsev to a team like Nashville. Zaitsev's contract is not necessarily the kindest, and I think that's something that Predators fans might say, whoa, we don't really want that contract, so maybe no. And that's why I think Luke Schenn and Nemeth are truly the best options available for the Nashville Predators for a guy to play with Dante Fabbro. With that said, speaking of the Ottawa Senators, we heard an interesting report. Now, I don't know the true, the credibility here, but it is definitely interesting to consider when you consider the fact that Seth Jones' name has been thrown around the Ottawa Senators organization. That's definitely going to kind of make you kind of look back twice. Apparently, the Ottawa Senators management had gone to the Blackhawks and asking about, and kind of inquiring about Seth Jones. Again, I think this is more along the lines of just trying to see what's available and not necessarily wanting to just trade him, but really trying to figure out, what is the market on Seth Jones. The Ottawa Senators are desperate for a defenseman, and I think they are basically willing to do anything at this point to get a deal done. And we saw a weird three-way trade where the Ottawa Senators were involved in that deal, and it makes you wonder, is that freeing them up maybe with a roster spot somewhere or avoiding waivers in order to facilitate a bigger trade? That does make you wonder. I think the Ottawa Senators are a real team to watch here for some of the bigger guys. John Klingberg out in Anaheim. I think the Ducks are truly, they brought him in knowing well before the trade deadline he would get traded. So I think John Klingberg in Anaheim, definitely a fit. Jacob Chychrun in Arizona, I think is a guy they are definitely going to be really looking at. I think Erik Karlsson to Ottawa kind of just seems like just dead weight. I don't think there's really any real credibility to that or real correlation there. So John Klingberg out in Anaheim, really, I like that pick. Chychrun in Arizona, I do honestly like that one as well. I think there's just more credibility to that type of rumor. And I think Seth Jones is one to kind of keep an eye on. I think it's a far-fetched deal, but I think that the fact that the Senators are approaching them, they know damn well the Blackhawks are going to ask for a lot. I think it's more of, is Chicago willing to make that move? And maybe there's something to that. So let me know what you guys think down below. What do you guys think of the Ottawa Senators? What do you guys think of the Nashville Predators? Which defenseman would you like to see for each of those teams? Because I think there's different fits for their different spots, right? The role that you're trying to get from Nashville is a big blue liner that can play good defensively, kind of babysit to an extent a younger guy like Dante Fabbro on the back end. And for Ottawa, they're just looking for a very good, capable top four defenseman. And whether that's, sounds funny because he's been injured a lot, but Jacob Chychrun is a name that I really think is out there. Seth Jones, again, some questions about him recently, but his name's been thrown out there. Let me know what you guys think. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.